Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ICS211. And in this video, I'm going to go over Lab 5.14, the Array Statistics program. So let me share my screen. And here we are. Now this program is supposed to sort of help. It's an exercise in stepwise refinement, and really it's to develop a pattern of programming where you do a little bit of coding at a time and you run it to see if it works, and it's called incremental development. That's what we call it in this that's what we call it in this day and age. Back in the 90s we call it stepwise refinement. But so here we're just going to read in an array. We're going to read in I guess the whole thing. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, so first we're going to read in the number of elements that we're going to read in, the size of the array, and then we're going to actually read in the array. And then we're going to output we're going to go through 5 steps, and we're going to print out some stuff about the array. The first time we're going to print out we're going to make a loop, and we're going to print out the minimum and the maximum. And then we're going to go through the loop, and we're going to figure out what the mean is. Print that out right here. And then we're going to read in. Then we're going to test to see if the array is a palindrome. And a palindrome means it's read the same way both times. So from left to right and from right to left. So in this array, there's 9 elements in this array. And you can see that this is a palindrome because, you know, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so the way you do this is you test the first one with the last one, and then the second to the second one to the second to the last one, and the third to the third of the last one. So you have 2 pointers, 2 indexes, and you just step down until the indexes hit each other. And if they were the same all along, then if you get to the end, then you know it's a palindrome. If any time you do the test and one is not equal to the other, then you know it's not a palindrome, and you can quit. Say no, it's not a palindrome. Okay, so that's going to print out this for this particular array. And then we go here and we're going to sort the array, and we're going to figure out what the median of the array is. And so the median is located in the middle of the array if the array length is odd. If it's even, then you take the middle 2. There's no one middle, there's a middle 2. You take those and you average those, and then that's the median. That's how you calculate the median. And then this one is a challenging one. Because you have to figure out what the longest string is, or the mode is the value that appears most frequently. And so you know, you go through this, like here in this example, you go through this 9-element array here, and the one element that appears the most, that's the mode. And in this case it would be 2, because we've got 3 2s. And only 2 3s, and only 1 4, 1 5, 1 6, and then 1 1. So that the mode would be 2. So this is the hardest to figure out. So I'm going to get you through this one, and you know, this is the first kind of hard program, and you need to get through this program before you can do the first lab. And I kind of don't want to hinder you on the first lab. Or I want to hinder you as little as possible. And so I'm going to take you through this thing, and I'm going to pretty much do the whole thing. So then you're raring to go for the lab. All right, so let's start with the first one, and we're supposed to type in the code here. And oh, it's nice that they commented this already, because now we can just go by the comments. Okay, so we start out, we're going to use the array class, the scanner class. We're going to use a scanner called SCNR, which is initialized here. We have an array of nums, and this is where we're going to store our array. And we have an count, which is going to be the count of the array. Yes, look, because here we initialize the array. So this thing here reads in the array. And so at this point, we have a count, and we have the array is filled. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to print out the minimum and the maximum values. You know, I'm going to do this for all of these. I'm going to copy this for loop here, copy, and I'm going to pop that bad boy right here. And I'm supposed to loop through this thing. Okay, so I'm going to start by setting, I'm going to have a variable called minimum, M-I-N, and I'm going to set that equal to the first element, nums 0. And I'm going to have a, gotta get my languages right, semicolon. Oh, and I got to declare this. Hold on a second. Okay, so I got this here, and I'm supposed to print out the minimum and the maximum. So I'm going to initialize both min and max as the first one, first nums, and I got to declare these buggers. Int min, int max. And I'm just going to go through, and if I get a new minimum, I'll save that in min, and if I get a new maximum, I'll save that in max. And so I'm going to go get rid of this. If num of I is less than min, than what I currently have for min, if that's true, I'm gonna capture that and save that as my new min. So I'm gonna say min equals nums of I. I have a new min. Also, if nums of I is greater than max, then I'm going to set max equal to, I have a new max, and I'm going to set that to nums I. And when I'm all done, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to print out this. Where's the first one? This one. I'm supposed to print this out. So minimum and maximum. System out print ln minimum well, I guess I'll go dent plus min. Yeah, right. I want to just run this right now and see what this looks like. Stepwise refinement, you know. Copy. Paste. And then run the program. Minimum 1, yes. So let's do max. Copy, paste, paste. Maximum. AX. AX. Run. All right. So I have knocked off step one. Now I got to figure out the mean, and they want me to print it out this way. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm gonna go like I'm gonna paste this right here. It's gonna work. And above it, I'm going to say, okay, so the mean is I add up all of the elements in the array, and then I divide it by the number of elements in the array. So it's like I'll grab a for loop again, copy. I'm gonna put it right here. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna have a sum. I'm gonna call it sum equals 0. And then I'm gonna add up sum. Sum plus equals num. And then I'm gonna say mean equals sum divided by count. Now I think I gotta do something because it's a different, these are integers. I'm dividing an integer by an integer. I think the mean, I don't know what the mean is gonna look like. So I might have to put a, let's see. Does this have it in here? No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. Okay, I'm gonna run it this way because I want to see what this looks like. So let me just do this. Oh, I gotta int these. Oh, maybe I shouldn't int them. So what is this thing? Double mean. Double mean. And I have a sum also. I'm gonna say double sum. I don't know. Even though it's adding integers. That's probably gonna be okay. Sum and mean. All right, I'm gonna see what this looks like. Mean 21.7. That's good enough for me. Probably okay. All right, now we're gonna do this palindrome thing. Okay, palindrome. All right, so all right, so I'm gonna loop through. I'm gonna loop through, and I'm gonna check, like this is the first one and this is the last one. So I'm gonna set one index pointing the index of the first one, which is 0, and the last one, which is count -1. And then I'm gonna compare the two, and if they're not equal, then I'm gonna break out of the loop because I already know it's not a palindrome. But if it is equal, then I'm gonna decrement the upper index by 1, and I'm going to increment the lower index by 1, and then I'm going to compare those two to see if they're equal. If they're not equal, boom, we're done. And I'm going to keep on doing this until the two indexes meet. And if they meet, then I know it's a palindrome because it's passed all the tests all the way in. So that's how I'm gonna that's gonna be my strategy. Um, um, all right, so I guess the okay, I'm gonna do a for loop. Oops, what's going on? Where's my okay here? Well, see, let me just start with this. And I'm gonna say for I equals 0, and I'm gonna go up to count um hmm, nums length minus 1. Oh, divided by 2. All right. So I'm gonna so this for loop is gonna have two variables that iterate. Both I and j. I is gonna be the index of the lower one, and j is gonna be the index of the upper one. So I is gonna initialize at 0, and I do comma, and j is gonna initialize at count minus 1. Okay. And then I'm gonna have, okay, so this is initialization. Do I have to do int j also? Well, I don't think I have to. And then it's gonna be, and I'm gonna do this until while I is less than count divided by 2, because it only needs to go up halfway. And I'm gonna, and with each iteration, I'm gonna increment I and decrement j. Okay, so now I can compare. I'm gonna start out by having a variable called palindrome. And I guess I can initialize it here. I'm gonna always do that from now on. Palindrome, and I'm gonna initialize it as true. And so as long as it stays true to the very end, then I know I have a palindrome. Each time I check the top, the elements at the indexes, if they're ever not equal, then I can set it palindrome equals false and leave, or I guess I can just let the loop. Is there? Okay, hold on. Let's not get ahead of myself. So if nums of I is not equal to nums of j, if they're not equal, then palindrome is false. Is false. And I'm going to, all right, I just wanted to check my languages, and there is a break statement in Java, so I'm going to use that break statement. If I set the palindrome equal to false here, then I can break out of here. I can break out of the for loop. And then I close the if statement. And so this thing loops. And if it makes it okay, yes. So if it makes it all the way where where I goes all the way to count divided by 2, and this is never true. In other words, they're always equal. Then we know that then this is never executed, and the loop finishes. And down here, I can say, I guess I can. I can just write. I can just write out the value of the Boolean variable. So system out print line palindrome is plus palindrome. All right. Let's I'm going to run it on this one, and it's going to say no, it's not a palindrome. But if I run it on well, I can just make my own. I'll just do it this one. I'll just use this one. All right, not bad. Okay. Okay, the next one is calculating the median. And so that's right here. Now, how do we calculate the median? We have to, the median is the one right in the middle, okay? So we have to first sort it. And so now after this, nums is going to be sorted. And then we can just take the middle, the middle. If it's an odd number, if count is, if count mod count mod 2 is equal to 0, no, if count mod 2 is equal to 1, then it got an odd number of elements. And since we start counting at 0, the median is just equal to the nums of the length of the count divided by 2. Okay. Otherwise, I need to take a median equals, it turns out it's num, by the way, this is nums. Let's do a sample. Median is 5.5. Okay, let's do a sample of this. Let's see this. Let's say I'm just gonna put that there, and look, my code here should actually be down here. So let me fix this. Okay, so if it's an odd number, then that's like this is an odd number. It's 1, 2, 3, odd, 1, 2, 3. And so the index 0, and so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. And we want the 0, 1, 2, the third element. And so 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. It's as an integer, it's 2, it's 3. And so 0, 1, 2, 3, this is the index of the median. If it's an odd number, if it's an even number, then we want to take the average of these two. And so we need this one and this one. Now there's 6 elements. So 6 divided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So we need 6 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and then 6 divided by 2 minus 1, which is going to be 2. So those are the indexes of the two elements that we have to add together and divide by 2. We have to find the middle of those two. And so to do that, it would be the count divided by 2 minus 1, because it's going to do the count divided by 2 first. And then it's going to, then I'm going to subtract 1 from that. So that takes care of, that's the 5. And then I'm going to add plus nums count divided by 2, just count divided by 2. And I got to add those two together. And then divide by 2. That's the average. Okay. All right. And then I got to print it out. How do I print it out? It looks like this. Copy this. Copy. Paste. And I'm going to say, well, I got to close the if. And I'm going to say median equals median. And median is is it a double? Can I declare it here? Double median. Did I declare it up here? No, I didn't. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. The median is 3. Well, it makes sense. Let's do it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has got. Is that what the example is up here? Well, this median is 3. This median is 5.5. Yeah, that's this one. So let's try this one. 5.5. Yeah, it should be 5.5 because it's between these two. Do I got to do something like oh, well, this will do it. Make sure that everything is a floating point number. Does this do it? Yeah, okay. All right, does that look the same as this? Yes, it does. Okay, the last one, this is the hardest one, because we have what we have to do is is uh, find the longest, find what digit or what element uh, is is the longest string. The longest string where it doesn't change. Okay, so like this is 3 2s in a row. This is 2 3s in a row, and these are each one. So this is the longest string. It's a string of 3 2s, and we're supposed to write a program to detect that. So this is pretty tricky. So I'm going to start out with I'm going to have a variable. This up a little bit. I'm going to start out, and I'm going to I'm just going to start out and say, okay, so I'm going to have a variable called mode, and so it'll be an integer mode, and I'm going to first initialize mode to equal just the first character, the first element of the array. Mode equals nums of 0. Okay. And I'm gonna initialize the frequency. No, I'm gonna call it I'm gonna call it the count int. I'm gonna have a variable called count, and I'm gonna initialize count equaling 1 because we are we're right now looking at the first element of the array, and we're setting that as the mode. The count it's a string of 1, and I'm going to have another variable called, I can do it this way. I can do that. And then I can and then I'm going to have a variable that is that remembers what the longest sequence has been. Okay, so I'm going to say int longest is equal to, and I'm going to start out with it initializing in a 0, and as soon as I find okay, and then I'm going to loop through, and as long as the next element is the same as the current element, then I'm going to increase the count, and I'm going to keep on going until the next element is not the same as the current element, and then I've reached the end of the sequence. I've reached the end of the current sequence, and I'm going to see if the count of the current sequence is longer than the longest count. Let's call this longest sequence count. How's that for a long variable name? If that's the case, then I'm going to save it. Save it as the new mode, or save it as a new mode. Otherwise, I'm not going to save it as the. I'm not going to save it as the new mode. All right, so now I've initialized this, and then I can do for integer I equals 0 to while I is less than count. Whoops, I'm using count array for something else. I'm using count for the length of the array. All right, yeah. So I can't use count. I'm going to use sequence count. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be the count for the size of the array. Well, it's less than count, and then plus I. And so here I am. I'm sitting at the first. I'm sitting here at that one, and I have to see if um, num of nums of I is equal to nums of I plus 1. And if it is, then I can increment the sequence count. And now is as good a time as any if the sequence count is greater than the longest sequence count. If that's true, then let's save it. So I have a new longest sequence count. Hold on. I have a new longest sequence count equals the sequence count. And I have a new, all right, that's it, right? Oh, yeah, right, I have a new mode. Mode equals nums of I. And I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not it. All right, so if if the next one is equal to this one, then we're gonna increment the sequence count, and we're gonna save it if it's a new longest sequence count. We're gonna make sure the mode is set to that. If this one is not the same as the next one, then we're gonna start over again. Then we're done. I mean, this was set. This may have been set with the last one, but with this one, the sequence is over. And so it's the else of this if. And so that would be, we want to just reset the sequence count equals 0, no, equals 1. Because we are right back like we were in the very beginning, and we now have a new sequence, and it's the new sequence is this one, because so we have a new and that's the size of 1, and so the sequence size is 1, and so then this for loop, can I make this bigger? Yes. Ooh. This for loop ends right here. And so this is looping through all of the elements in the array. And each time it checks to see the sequence count, whatever the sequence count is, it looks forward 1. And if it's the same, then we increment the sequence count and we check to see if it's the longest one. It may or may not be. And then we come back around again. But if ever we look at the next one and it's not the same, then we're starting over again. And so we reset the sequence count and we come back around again. And I think that might be at the end. Mode is gonna contain the is gonna be which element had the longest sequence count. And so we can print that just after, oh, that's right. Oh, right after the for loop. So it's here, yeah. Okay, so we could do system out print line mode colon plus mode. And I'm also going to put even though it doesn't ask for this, I'm going to put the sequence count in parentheses, the longest sequence count. Because I want to know what the longest sequence count was. Plus, okay. Let's see what this looks like. And let's use this data right here. Let's see, exception thread, index 9, out of bounds for length 9. $66. $66. Oh, I bet you I can't go all the way up to there. I bet you I have to go one less, because otherwise I'm going to be looking at count. I'll be looking too far ahead. So let's try this one. Okay, and that's how many there were, that mode of 2. What if I do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3? All right. So anyway, when you submit this, you don't need to have this. You wouldn't put that there. So anyway, you can submit this and probably work. I don't think there's any errors. If there are, then you should be able to figure them out. They'd be minor. So what I've shown you is lab 5.14. And so once you know that this is working correctly, then you can go over and do the first lab assignment where you get this running on, you have to do a Hello World program on the Eclipse integrated development environment. You have to download Eclipse and get a Hello World program running, and then you also have to get this program running, this exact program, and then you'll submit that under lab assignments on Lima. Anyway, hope this helps. Thanks for watching.